Welcome back to Man Across New Horizons. I'm dear darling. Shall we see what's going on a lovely little island of Fawnhallow today as I adjust my volume and make sure I adjust my seating position. My microphone seems a bit high up, but we'll sort of just roll with it. On a lovely 2nd of July, you know, counting down the days through the second half of the year. I don't know where I was really going with that sentence. You ever just start a sentence and just be like, man, I have no idea how the sentence is going to end up because I didn't think it through in my head. Actually, to be honest, real life doesn't happen all that much. It only happens in YouTube videos because that's why I'm trying to do a continuous stream of conversation going. So I found myself starting a lot more conversations which I don't know how they're going to end before I really think about it. But anyway, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow, it's 2:38 PM on Friday, July 2nd, 2021. No breaking news today. I thought you said barking news. Hope we have a lovely deserved weekend because today is Friday, you know, end of a week and all that sort of thing. What do I want to talk about today? One thing I was thinking about today is because I've got like 2 blankets. I've got like a thick set sort of duvet, which is obviously fantastic in winter and colder months. And why does this load every single time now? We haven't got anything from Nintendo. Are they like syncing up the mailboxes for backing it up to the cloud or something like that? Yeah, I got 2 blankets. I've got like a thick set duvet, which is good for the winter months and other sort of cold seasons, like that sort of thing. And then I got a thinner one, so it's like a very thin blanket, which is nice in summer, you know, when it's really hot out and it starts to get a little bit sweaty if you're using the thicker duvet. But now we're in about like a bit of a weird, awkward position. Where on some days it's too hot to use a thick duvet, and some days it's far too cold to use a thinner duvet, and it's very difficult to tell from the beginning. And you might say it's not difficult to tell, you just sort of look at the weather forecast. Yeah, I mean, you can look at the weather forecast, and I look at the weather forecast and be like, oh, what's temperature like? But you know, sometimes the temperatures just feel different, you know? I don't know how else to put it, but it can be the same temperature on 2 different days, but because I guess of humidity, maybe like the wind or something, it can feel like 2 different ambient temperatures and whatnot, and that sort of thing. That just makes everything really awkward. I'm not gonna lie, so sometimes, you know, I'm just like, oh, I'll go to sleep, I'll go to sleep, I'll chance it with a thick duvet, because I'm just like, it doesn't feel like it's going to be all that warm today. And I wake up and I'm just like, oh, the blanket's completely off my bed or whatever. Because it was just so hot during the night, it slowly wiggled itself. My body slowly wiggled it off just so I could get a little bit of breathing and cool air on my skin and that sort of thing. And sometimes it's just like, oh, feels like it's going to be pretty hot today. Use a thin blanket. I wake up and I'm just really cold. And I'm like, I used the wrong blanket. And it's just like, don't get me wrong, very much first world problem. It's not actually a problem. It's just like something I was thinking about this morning, because I slept with a thick blanket and I woke up and I was like, it's pretty hot. And it's surprising coming from me, because I feel like I'm someone who doesn't. It's not like I don't feel temperature. I feel temperature. I'm just very, I suppose, non-reactive to it compared to other people potentially. Just like I suppose changing temperature doesn't affect me as much. Like if the temperature changes, I'm like, oh, okay. Not like anything else in particular. You know, if it's a bit warm, maybe I'll take off my coat, maybe I won't. If it's a bit cold, maybe I'll put on another layer, maybe I won't. You know, it's sort of like I have strange thresholds, I suppose, for what the temperature needs to reach for me to actually be like, oh, okay, I need to actually change my attire. Because it wasn't like I only have like 2 modes when it comes to outfits, like wintry outfits and summery outfits, and it was only like recently that I switched from like my wintry style outfits to much more relevant like summer outfits, or currently I guess it's more like a springish-esque outfit I'm wearing right now. But I was like wearing turtlenecks, and the day that made me change, I was like, okay, it's like 23 degrees or no, 25 degrees, I can't remember. And I was like, okay, it's actually kind of warm right now. Let's maybe not wear like a turtleneck sweater indoors if I can help it, so I don't like dehydrate myself or something, or suffer a heat stroke or something like that. Because as you might imagine, there's quite suboptimal situations to find yourself in. Let's catch 5 fish. I forgot walking leaves were a thing in July, so I was just like, what the heck was that? It startled me. Do me a frighten, as they say in whatever meme language that is. Excuse me. We had fruits, seashells, and what was the other one? Fish. Can't remember the other note mission. But we know Flick's our visitor for today. I don't know if we have any insects to give him, but we'll see. Oh, change clothes. I see. Oh, excuse me. I feel a little bit fatigued today. Whether I actually am or not is, I don't know. Don't think I'm actually tired. It just, I guess I feel low-key today. And I don't mean a Marvel supervillain. I think he's a supervillain now? Well, not now, but, like, still. Right? Didn't he get, like, snapped or something in Endgame? Isn't he dead? I don't remember. I don't really follow the Marvel universe. Also, spoilers, I suppose, if you aren't aware of that sort of thing. But also, maybe not, because I might be wrong. I don't really know. But yeah. Well, we need, like, an adaptive blanket. Is that a thing? Like a blanket which... it sounds so stupid when I say it. A blanket which, like, reacts to the ambient temperature and then, like, makes itself more suitable depending on the temperature. So you might be like, how does that work, And for a second there I was like, I have no idea, I'm pretty sure that's impossible. No, I thought about it just for a split second longer. I'm pretty sure you could have, like, a thin aerated blanket which was also doubles as, like, a heated blanket as well, an electric one. So you plug it in, you get some what are those thermometer sensing diodes called? Thermistors. Get some thermistors in there to react to the temperature, and when it's hot, turns off heater. When it's cold, turn on heater. Simples, something like that. Of course, I don't think that's going to work, because I'd imagine you need quite a bulky blanket in the first place to actually put the electrical heated components in, otherwise you'll sort of be like, there's not enough room in here for any, like, wiring or circuitry, or maybe the circuitry is kind of heavy anyway, which makes it kind of weighted and heated in the first place. So I guess that's kind of a balance. Can you get an aerated enough light blanket material and also simultaneously put, like, heat packs and stuff inside? Maybe. Why not do the inverse? Why not have a thick blanket? Sorry, it's so stupid. A thick blanket, which when it gets hot, I don't even know how this works. It has, like, endothermic sources or something inside the blanket which it activates. How does that work? I have no idea. Like how a fridge stays cool? It's got, like, those chemicals flowing through the back, and then it's got, like, a heatsink outside. Oh, wait, that's brilliant. There could be a pair of blankets connected to each other, one of them being, like, an endothermic blanket, the other being, like, an exothermic blanket. And one just continuously supplies heat to the other or something. So you can get a balance. You might say, why would you need them both activated at the same time? And I don't really have an answer for you. I don't think you would. I can't imagine a situation where you both simultaneously need, like, an ice cold blanket and a heated blanket at the same time. That seems a little bit strange, but, I don't know what sort of climate. I was trying to think of a word. I was going to say thermometer, and I was like, that's not a word. What sort of climate you might be living in where that would even be feasible. I don't think one exists, but it's a theory which matters. Maybe it's you and your partner. You like to be slightly warm while you're sleeping, and they like to be slightly cool. And this way, bada bing, bada boom. Instead of having one shared duvet between you, making neither of you happy, you have two separate single duvets connected together. One warm and one cold. Cool, that sort of thing. This is where you might bring up, what about, sorry, hold on, I skipped one step ahead in my conversation. This is where I bring up, I don't think that's even possible. How do you have, like, a cool blanket anyway, like an endothermic blanket or anything like that? And then you were like, what about the Chillow? Which is something which Ali always raves on about, and he apparently is very upset that I told him not to buy a Chillow, which I don't even remember doing. And now they have someone else, like, bought Chillows, and they have new people who make them really badly or something, and they're not as good as the old ones. And he blames me for it. In a jokey way, not like in a serious, like, accusation way, mind you. Well, I hope so, at least. Despite the fact I was just like, I don't see why you would need this in the first place. But, now we'll never know if it was any good or not. But anyway, if you don't know what a Chillow is, apparently I only know that was because of Ali. It's a pillow. It's basically an ice pack, but, like, not actual ice. It's like one of those cool packs. You like put it in the freezer or fridge or whatever, and then you can sleep on it, and it's a pillow, but it's also cold. And then my response to that was like, why don't you just then put your pillow in the fridge or freezer if you want it to be cold? It's like, oh, it doesn't stay cold. I was like, I don't think the Chillow will stay that much colder. Either way, I mean, I guess it would, but in my mind, the only way I can sort of rationalise it is for it to stay that cold, it would have to literally be like an ice pack, which seems too cold to sleep on. But, it was hot summer months. those summer days drifting away. Maybe you need a chiller on your bed. Oh well, I don't know where I was going with this. Yeah, but maybe you do need a chiller. Maybe you do need those sub-zero temperatures on your head, which I might say is probably not a very good idea. Probably a good way to get like hypothermia or something. So perhaps don't sleep on an ice pack or anything like that. And which now raises a question to me. There's ice hotels and stuff in like obviously much colder countries, like I don't know, Greenland or something, Iceland, any of those Nordic countries. There's probably ice hotels. That must be very uncomfortable and very cold. Obviously very cold, but like, how does it work? There's no way that you just sleep on like the ice slab and you're just they're just like, oh, there you go, there's your bed. Surely they give you like a bed sheet or something to put on top to at least sort of like, I guess, insulate you from the coldness. But even still, you know, if you put a bed sheet on top, it's got to be a very special like waterproof, non-absorbent bed sheet, because if it's not, you're just gonna get icy water like in your bed sheet. It's gonna absorb it all up, and you're just gonna be basically sleeping on a very cold, wet blanket, which is honestly sounds atrociously awful in every sense of a word. How many seashells have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, perfect. We've got enough. Let's go sell this stuff. That's... Oh, we already fished up enough. I didn't even realise. Well, I was like, how is that not enough of a fishing Nook Mile mission bow? But I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I did have a very cynical view of a Chillow. It did not seem all that appealing to me. I sort of think I was just like, it seems unneeded. If it, you know, we're in England, it doesn't get too hot. I mean, it does get hot, mind you, because bear in mind all of the architecture in our houses is designed to keep heat in, because most of the time England is cold, too cold to live in, rather than, or too cold to live in the natural elements outside, rather than too hot to live in. So we have like double glazed windows, we have brick houses, everything to keep the heat in. But so I actually got to think about what things I'm selling here. Hold on. That seems right. That seems right. Yeah, that seems all good. But even in the hottest nights, it's not like I personally have never been like, oh, it's so hot, I want to just, you know, basically sleep on the equivalent of an ice pack or a really, really cold pillow. Like a cool pillow, yes, cold pillow. That's sort of like I suppose, an argument of semantics right there. When I say cold pillow like that, I suppose not everyone just immediately thinks, a cold pillow, so sub-zero temperatures. I guess that's not really cold. Cold would be anything sub 10, sub 5. So it depends on the range and, you know, I guess humidity, but that's sort of neither here nor there. A point being, it just feels like it'd be too cold. And if I did want something like that, I'd probably want a whole blanket rather than just a pillow. You would have thought a pillow wouldn't be quite enough to really chill you out, but, you know, I'd love to be proven wrong, but apparently the Chillow, of course, is no longer something which we can really rely on anymore, but that's only word of mouth I've heard. Maybe it is. Maybe you own a Chillow, a modern day Chillow, and you're just like, it's the best thing I've ever bought. And I think it would certainly apply to you more if you live in much hotter countries. I don't know, if you live in Phoenix, Arizona or something, and it goes up to like 50 degrees Celsius, mind you, or something. Like Death Valley. And then, 1, why? 2, but... well, obviously not everyone's circumstances can allow them to choose exactly where they live, but I can't imagine how absurdly difficult it would be to live in that sort of environment. Do we need to clear out our storage? Yeah, we can afford to clear out some of our storage. Let's do some of that. Let's grab some insects and grab a load of other stuff, which we will sell away. Sell away, sell away, sell away. Okay, what insects do we got? Citrus longhorn beetle seems to be the only one. We need to get some more. Because we got the pale bug, we need one more warfrage. Tarantula, that's going to be difficult to get because I don't play much during the night anymore. Tiger beetle seems doable. So does a moth. That sort of all depends on when we play. Oh yeah, we're going to clear out our storage. But yeah, I mean, if you live in someplace like Arizona or something, and you got that sort of sweltering heat around you, you know, for one, I feel sorry for you because that seems very uncomfortable. And I'll be honest, I particularly do hate warm temperatures and hot temperatures compared to cold. I'd much rather be able to put on another layer than have to have like no layers left to take off, I suppose, when you get in the sort of sweltering, sweaty heat. And it's always worse when it's in a very humid country as well. At least when it's dry, you know, your sweat can sort of like evaporate rather than sort of lingering on your skin and making you feel all sticky and icky. But, you know, I suppose your mileage may vary when it comes to that. Yellow one's a bit of a strange colour. But still, where was I going with this? I don't really know where I was going with this. Whoa. Look at this white and gold tea we got here. Sorry, terrible joke. There's something else I was going to say about the concept of a chill blanket. Do you think you could get like a whole chilled bed? You know? Like get like a chilled mattress? I mean, I guess that sort of goes back to sleeping on ice slab, but obviously you don't want to sleep on ice slab because you don't want like the water to soak through. There's nothing worse than sleeping on something wet, you know? Just incredibly uncomfortable. Like wet clothing is uncomfortable. Sleeping in like a wet blanket, wet bed, terrible. Not that I can't think of something worse, but it is certainly a situation which I wouldn't want to find myself in particularly often, or like ever, if I could help it. But you know, I guess you don't really get much control over those sort of situations in the first place, so it really is not something you can count on in the end. No, what was I going to say? There's something I wanted to say. I guess you could just have a fan. Oh, did you see that video of some guy, some like engineering dude who'd basically like strategically tested where it was an optimal place to put a fan in your house, and it was sort of to circulate air, and the best place to do it was something like 1.5 meters or something away from a window, blowing air out the window, which I suppose is a bit counterintuitive, but I suppose if you think about it, it's about creating a negative air pressure inside your house. So you push the air out the window, and then like create a negative air pressure, and also the fan I suppose sucks a little bit in through the back, and from that I guess it gets air circulating. Maybe it's also because it's the same concept that is used in that sort of like physics demonstration where you try and like inflate this giant bag. Is like, what if you had like a really big opening, or if you had a really tiny opening? You only need one big puff and a big opening to really inflate it, because it like pushes all the other air that's surrounding it into it as well at the same time, or something like that. Don't quote me on that. I don't quite recall the details of it. It's a little bit fuzzy. That's probably enough, right? Nah, one off. Who cares? So something like, because all the air in your room is like staying still and not being battered around by the currents anyway, I suppose it's a lot easier to push stuff out into the natural air outside, which is sort of, ooh, I'm sorry, mirror, which is being affected by the swirling air currents and that sort of thing, than it is to pull it in. I don't know. But anyway, the conclusion is that was a conclusion. But the actual best thing is, if it's even slightly windy, even if it's slightly windy, you're much better off just opening all the windows in your house to get the air circulating, which is, I guess that makes sense. Nature's fan for wind is the best way to cool off during a hot night in the first place, I suppose. But the annoying thing about when it's hot is I dislike opening my windows. Not because I dislike having a window opening, because I don't like it when insects get inside. Because, you know, in the UK we don't have screens on our windows as opposed to America, which often do. And, you know, China does as well, actually. And a lot of other hotter countries, because we don't often have to open our windows, I suppose, all that often. Most of the time the windows stay shut so we can get some double glazing action going on. But the point being, we don't have any mesh on windows. And I dislike having to kill the insects which fly in. I always like to try and usher them out. But the problem is, flying insects, they're just dumb as heck, you know. Spiders are easy. They get a bit skittery, they get scared. But if you just gently put your hand down, they'll climb onto it, and you can just toss them out the window, and it'll be fine. And I say toss, it's fine, because spiders don't. Terminal velocity is not nearly enough to kill them because they're too light. Well, at least I hope so. Well, if it's crawling insects, completely fine. But then flies and bees and wasps, especially, are just dumb. They just fly around. Like, I open the window massively, and I'm just like, go, 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 and they're just like bash, bash, bash into the window. Obviously, it's much worse a situation for them than it is for me, but it's just that I suppose it's a bit of a nuisance, if anything. And I don't want to kill a bee, you know, bees important to our ecosystem. Wasps, at least, are like, you know, no one likes wasps particularly, but I suppose they are useful for the food web, the circle of life and that sort of thing, but I don't know. And I haven't been stung by a bee or wasp before, and I don't plan to anytime soon. about aggravating them. So I was just like, open the window, and you like get a book out, and you're just like, and you're like fanning them, and just being like, go in this direction, come on. And it's just like, bzz, 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 bzz. I can't understand human dialogue. It's like, oh, come on, why can't you evolve to understand at least English? Or at least gesticulation. I'm just pointing in this direction, just like flying that direction. It'll be better for both of us, There's no way you're going to survive in this house. Not unless you break into like the sugar cabinet or something. And I don't want you here. It's our house in the middle of the street. So every time I open my window, I open it just a little crack, just small enough so like flies and bees can't accidentally fly in. But they still, even if it's open just like a couple of centimeters, they still manage to find a way in. Biscuit, you've been doing that like play aeroplane thing, and you managed to end up all the way over here. That's impressive, if anything. What distance you covered. But anyway, I don't really know if I had many other problems apart from that sort of thing. It's just like it's annoying, Which is why I guess the concept of a Chillow is popular. You don't have to open your window. Oh, what missions do you possibly have? Oh, we didn't get changed. I forgot. Get changed, customize, insects, flowers. Okay. I guess that's why the concept of a Chillow is popular in the first place, because you won't have to open your window and have to deal with like mosquitoes or other insects climbing in through your window at night. I mean, it's not as bad as night because at night time because you don't have like the lights on or whatever, which attracts insects from the darkness outside and to the inside, like moths or that sort of thing. But moths aren't actually that bad. Moths are just really, really skittery, which is the annoying part of it. At least with their skitteriness, they do tend to fly out of a window. This reminds me of one time in summer, like I cracked open my window when a wasp came in, and I was like, oh, I don't want to deal with this wasp. And I tried my best to get the wasp out, and then it just kept getting angry and like failing to fly out of a massively open window. So I was just like, you know what? How do I get rid of a wasp without killing it? And it was like, wasps are attracted to light source. So I was like, alright. So I turned the light on in a different room and turned the lights off in my room, waited for wasps to slowly crawl out of my room and fly into that room. Then I opened that window, switched off the light, closed the door, went back to sleep. I was like, I want to go to sleep. I don't want to have to deal with this wasp, eh? Wasps are a nuisance. I don't want to get stung. They're angry, and I just want to go to sleep without a wasp in my room. Mosquitoes, not good either, to be fair. But things which bite, at least it's just like a mild buzzing rather than a rather aggressive attacking buzzing. Well, I guess mosquitoes kind of attack, so it's kind of a moot point, isn't it? But plus, there's not many mosquitoes in England in the first place, so not really something to be all concerned about. Are there even mosquitoes in England? I don't even know. We certainly have some sort of biting insect. Maybe they're just gnats. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, that's the benefit of having something like a Chillow. Is that you can cool off during the night very easily, and also don't have to deal with the nuisance of cracking open your window or having on a fan, because I know some people can't get sleep with a fan on, which is fair enough, There's an annoying sort of, I guess, white noisy thing droning on in the background. And sometimes you just want a bit of silence. I always say silence is probably a lot more unnerving to me if I'm going to sleep and it's just pure silence than having white noise in the background. But excuse me, your mileage may vary when it comes to that thing. I kind of want to just sleep, but I don't actually want to sleep. There's the dilemma, the dichotomy I've caught myself in. To be tired or not to be tired? That is a question. Yeah, there's that sort of benefit, which is like, I don't know, maybe there's something as like a cold blanket. Let's see. Not a wet blanket, a cold blanket. Cold, chilled blanket? Because it used to be a thing, you could put like a, well, not used to be, it still is, but like in the winter months you could put like your blanket on the heater or something, and when you go to sleep it'll be like, oh, nice and warm. It's like a makeshift heated blanket. I suppose you could do the same with a chilled blanket, except for there's not really much space for a blanket in your fridge, unless you've got two fridges, in which case, wow, check you out. Two empty fridges, one empty fridge, mind you. Adekia, revolutionary cooling blanket. Not sponsored, by the way. Magic multi-function cool jelly pad cushion. I guess that's for Chillow, but, you know, not the same anymore. Cooling blanket for sleeping. How do these work? I just got a picture of them and a lot of ice cubes. You actually just put this in your fridge. It can absorb heat and sweat from your body and keep you cool even in a hot summer. It's Japanese. Made of mica nylon. Do you not just put it in the fridge? No, it's just got like, it's just ventilated. Let's see what the Amazon reviews are like. Are they actually any good? Best cooling solution I found. Disappointed. This person complained that the blanket offered no reduced heat and was constantly slipping off her body. Not doing what it was purchased for, you know? There's a hit or miss situation right there, so you'd have to be your own judge for that situation, but luckily, you know, there's probably a returns policy for that sort of thing in the first place. Because to be fair, unless your blanket is actively cooling, like cooling down, like got an ice pack on it and like absorbing heat out from the environment, the best the blanket can really do for you is just bring it down to room temperature. If the room temperature is hot, then that's a problem in the first place. Oh yeah, we should catch the cicadas, because we don't have any cicada, what are they called? Models, right? Probably not the best place to look for cicadas in the dead forest, hey? But, you know, the concept of it is there. Hello, Flick. Well, didn't see any cicadas, but we do see another long locust, and we do need 5 insects. Hello, Raymond. What are you thinking about? You're not thinking about leaving, are you? I will not allow it. I've got a new nickname for you. Not that touchdown is bad, but this one is sweet. Alright, go for it. Alright, brace yourself. It's canapé. It is cool. What's canapés are just like something you eat in a meal, right? It's like a starter. a tiny starter. Like tiny finger-sized food. A small piece of bread or pastry with a savoury topping served with drinks at receptions or formal. Ah, yeah, that's it. Honestly, canapés are pretty delicious, so I'll take that. Especially since touchdown is about American football, which is not something which is practiced particularly here in the UK. Yeah, so surely a blanket can't do anything except for bring it down to ambient room temperature unless it's got an active cooling solution or something in it. What am I even doing? What on Oakvale missions? Shit down a bit. Oh, these are all quite difficult to do. I guess we'll sell the things and buy flowers and plant them, I don't know. We can only bring it down to room temperature, and if your ambient room temperature is hot in the first place, you're kind of just, you know, out of luck, aren't you? There's not really anything you can do about that. And why are cooling solutions so much less common than heating solutions, you know? Heaters very common. Fans is the best we can do for cooling. I guess probably like endothermic things are very expensive to run, and there's not something on the mass market scale where it's particularly appropriate, but maybe you can think of a solution. I mean like ice packs, but and like fridges, I guess, but like why don't we have like a reverse radiator? Which I guess is what the fan is, but the fan doesn't do a very good job. It just sort of circulates air, you know? It doesn't like actively cool down the air. It just sort of like moves it around so you don't have hot air. So the air which is hot is constantly moving, or the air around you is constantly moving, upsetting the dynamic equilibrium. Well, I guess it's not really a dynamic equilibrium, just, well, I mean, I guess on a tiny microscopic scale it is a dynamic equilibrium, but just a quick equilibrium of air temperature around you. I don't know. It's almost certainly because it's probably not commercially viable to create something like a reverse heater. For those situations, the best we can do is really just stuff things in the fridge and take them out before you need to use them. It's like a thing people used to do in primary school, so you always used to like fill the bottle up, put the bottle in the fridge, and then... Sorry, not fill the entire bottle up. I was like, wait a minute, we just took a block of ice to school? That doesn't make any sense. No, they have like these little cores inside the bottle where you can fill it up with water, then freeze it. And then it'll be like an ice core in the middle, and then you like fill up your water around that part of the bottle. And then it's like, ooh, look at that. I've got like a chilled bottle throughout the day, as long as this ice cube stays, which it does until about break time, and in which case it like melts up promptly after 3 hours, but still, you know, it's better than nothing. I guess you do have reduced water capacity, although I suppose you could just drink water inside the ice core in the first place. I'm sorry, Mira, I didn't mean to do that again, but you know, it's kind of up to you. So, all round this episode off here, so if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Join my Dear Darling Discord down below, and I hope we can see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, keep cool, I guess. I don't know. Bye-bye for now.